Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today we've got this VW Golf Plus in with us. Now we serviced this car, I would say a few weeks back, maybe a month ago, and while servicing and inspecting the car we discovered the water pump was leaking. It's not a big leak, it looks like it's at the early stages of it, so this is a bit of a preventative maintenance video. We're going to be getting the water pump out of here, replacing it with a new one. So I'm going to get everything set up and then I'll show you where it's leaking from, and a telltale sign. If you start seeing some of these marks, it's a telltale sign that the water pump's leaking on this engine. So let me get all set up and then take it from there. Let's go. Okay, so got the car all set up. Now a telltale sign is if you look on the brake servo there, you can see the pink marks that's been splashed on there. And if you look further down here, I don't know if the camera will actually pick this up, there's a coolant hose right there. I'm going to try and zoom in on it. There you go. You can see all the coolant marks where it's just been flicking on that. Now I have got underneath the car and had a look, and you can see in the corner of the water pump there, you can see dried up coolant. So that's where it's flicking up from. So we got a new part in the boot. I'm gonna get all this off and then let's get this swapped out. So the water pump is located just at the back of the engine right there. This is not one that's been run by the timing belt. This car has a chain, so we don't have to do anything timing related, but we most likely will have to take the engine mount off on this side to gain a bit of space, and then there's a bracket at the bottom there which we'll also need to get off as well, and the pulley, because the new water pump does not come with the new pulley, so we have to take off this old one and swap it over to the new one. So let's get everything jacked up, get this car all set up, and then we can take it from there. Let's go. Okay, brackets off, just 2 spline bolts, M10. I'm just going to zoom in there, hopefully it will focus. So those 3 bolts that you're seeing, again M10 spline, are the 3 bolts holding the water pump pulley. Now you want to slacken these off before you take the belt off, because when the belt is tensioned it will hold it slightly and it will make it easier to take off. If the belt is taken off and you try to take them off in place, it's just going to be a lot harder. So don't obviously fully take them off, just slacken them off, and then we can move on to getting the belt off. So now I'm going to get the car jacked up. I've got the jack, it's sort of partially jacked up, so let's get it raced up. I'm going to then take the tyre off. There's a little access panel in the corner here, get that off, and then we can take the belt off. Once that's done, we can get that pulley off, and then we can start taking the water pump off. So I'm going to attempt to do this without taking the mount off, but let's see how it goes. Okay, so I've got the tyre off, got the car all jacked up, and you can see the fan belt and the rest of the pulleys here. So if we go up here, you can see the bottom of the water pump where it is all wet. You can see coolant has been leaking from there. So I think we caught this in the right time before it got worse, so that's going to be swapped out. I've also noticed certain areas of the fan belt is starting to crack. I have seen a lot worse, but since this belt's coming off and we are working in this area, it's better to just swap that out as well while we're doing this. So I'm going to try and see if I can get a fan belt ordered for today, so it saves us having to do that later on down the line. So I've got to get the car jacked up a little bit more and the axle stand raised up to get a bit more space under here. So I'll get that done, and then let's get this belt off and we can then start taking off the fan belt pulley. Let's go. Okay, so we got the fan belt out, and if you look, starting to crack. It's not bad. I have seen worse, as I said before, but if you look at the edges there, starting to separate, and the date on this belt looks to be 2017, so it's been on there for a little while. So while we're in the area, it's best to just change it. Also, got the fan belt pulley off, and if we get back up here now, you can see very clearly, there you go, underneath, once the pulley's removed, you can see where it's coming through, right there. So it's got, looks like 3 top bolts, which I can get to from under here, and then we can take it off. The engine mount is just there, so it looks like we can do this job without having to take the engine mount off, which is very good. So let's get this water pump out, and then we'll have to do a little bit of cleaning, and then we'll get it swapped out. Now, something I want to say, if you're doing this job yourself, if you've got this engine, the TSI engine, make sure the engine is cold. You don't want to do this when it's hot, because obviously if you're down there and you're taking the water pump off, it's gonna most likely go everywhere, splash everywhere, so you don't want hot coolant. Also, this cap should never be open when it's hot, so if you're doing this yourself, make sure the car is cold, so there's no pressure in the system, and then it's safe to work on it. So I'm going to get this old water pump out, and then let's take a closer look at it from there. Let's go. Okay, so got the water pump bolts taken out, and just gave it a few taps with a hammer. Didn't fully break it off because I don't want all the water rushing out and going everywhere. And I've just got a little drain pan under here, and as you can see, it's slowly draining into the pan. So I'm going to leave that alone for a little bit, let it fully drain out, and then we can take that off, clean it, and let's get the new one on. Okay, so old water pump is out. That's a closer look at it. It's leaking from right there. So got the new one from BGA over here. Comes with the new gasket as well. Also, the fan belt's just arrived. We've gone for the exact same one that it had, a Gates fan belt, 6PK1735, and that's the same one. So yeah, and this is 2024 week 22. So that's it. We're all ready to start putting this all back together now. If we get under here, got all the area where the old pump was all cleaned up, ready for the new one. So let's get this all on, get the new belt on, and then we can put the tyre back on, get the car back down on the floor, and start bleeding the cooling system. So let's go. Okay, water pump is on, fan belt's on, everything's starting up, all the bolts on the water pump pulley, all good. So quick tip on the fan belt, sometimes we forget which way the belt goes back on. So what I usually do is just take a picture before you take it off, so then you can use that as a reference, and when it's time to put everything back together, you have that and you can use that to put the fan belt on the proper way. So this is all done now. We're gonna get the covers on, get some coolant in this, and then let's start the bleeding process, get all the air out of the system, and then we have to wait for the coolant fans to come on. So let's go. Okay, so car's up and running, coolant in the bottle. It's only been about 10 minutes. Fans haven't kicked in yet, so I'm just monitoring it now, waiting for both the top and bottom coolant hoses to get hot. That's how I know that the thermostat has opened, and then once it's reached its temperatures, fan should kick on. But keep an eye on it, no leaks at the moment. and you can see the water pump so we fitted doing this job. So I'll get the rest of this done and then show you the next bit. Let's go. Okay, so that's all done. The fan's just kicked on. It's just turned itself off now. So all the levels are good. We haven't got any more leaks. Water pump's working fine. Car staying up to temperature. Halfway point, all good. So I'm just going to leave it running for a little bit longer. Make sure that the fan kicks on a few times. I've already seen it kick on twice, but I like to make sure that it continues to kick on and off, so then I know there's no issues. So then we can wrap things up here. So if you do have one of these models, this one is a Golf Plus, but this engine, I believe it's a 1.4. It's on the Golf as well, some Polos. So if you have the water pump at the back and you can see it, this is definitely something you can do at home with the right tools. I said it before, I'll say it again. Just make sure that you work on this car if you're doing anything coolant related when it's cold. You do not want to be opening that cap when it's hot. So this one's all done now. I can get it back to the customer. But let's see if this fan kicks back on again. Hopefully. Come on soon. And there we go. So it's good news. So now I know that this car's happy. Like I said, also another way that I always check is the top and bottom radiator hoses. When they're both hot, you know the thermostat has open and it's flowing properly. If one is hot and one is cold, then you know that thermostat hasn't opened yet, and you need to double check, make sure that it's opening properly, working properly. Otherwise, it will just overheat. So let me just shut this off because the fan's very noisy. Alright, so I'm gonna let this cool down a bit, and then I'm gonna recheck the coolant level, because sometimes when they cool down they do drop a little bit. So then before I return this car, I can top it back up. Also, I'm gonna jack it up one more time and double check, make sure the water pump's happy, make sure there are no leaks, and then this one's ready to get back. So that's it for this video. This is probably not going to be a very long video, but here's another one for all my subscribers. And if you have one of these cars, as I said before, it's really not all that bad to do. A little bit fiddly to get underneath there, but it is doable. You don't need a ramp. So we hope this video is helpful to anyone watching, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you come across our channel, this is the first video you're seeing, help yourself to all the other videos we have. We hope you like them, and please help this channel grow by hitting the subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.